Absolutely. I spent about 20 years as a professional juggler.
But I spent 20 years as a trial lawyer. Yeah! So I think I win.
I think you win, definitely. Now, when we first put a video online about 11 years ago now, we told, before half of these kids were born totally, we told one person. And from that one person, that video spread around the world. It's now been seen over 100 million times. But best of all, it has brought us right here to World Maker Faire, where we find our kindred spirits. And if there is one thing that you take away from your time here at World Maker Faire, if there is one thing that you take away from your time here at the E.B. Bird Coke and Mentos show, we hope that it is this. Try this at home. Yes! You must do this yourself. So let's show you the easiest way you can do this yourself.
The basic way to do this is so ridiculously simple. There's no excuse for anyone here not to have done this before the weekend is out. All you need is a roll of Mentos, a piece of paper, and a business card or a playing card. Fritz has a playing card there, and 5 or 6 Mentos candies. You roll the paper up into a tube, as Fritz is doing, and he's going to place the Mentos into that tube and the card on the bottom to hold them in place. Now, the reason you do this is because if you try to place them in by hand one at a time, after the first or second Mentos, the Coke starts to come out of the bottle and you can't get all of them in. But this way, with this simple tube and card method, he can pull that card away, all of the Mentos will drop into the bottle, and you'll get a nice geyser with almost no work. So for those of you in the back who can't see, he's put the bottle on the stage. He's going to put that whole assembly over the mouth of the bottle. And when I count down, he's going to pull the card away. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, pull. And the Mentos go into the bottle, and there's a geyser. And the most important thing when you do your geyser is whether it's big, small, or otherwise, always arms up at the end. Now, we can't do the paper tube method for the 108 bottles we have up here, so we have these nozzles that we've designed and built in the EP lab in Buckfield, Maine. So this is simply a piece of PVC pipe. Inside the pipe right now are 5 Mentos candies we've already put in there before the show. There's a wire pin across the bottom of that little PVC pipe holding the Mentos in. So when we pull the pin out, the Mentos drop into the soda, make this geyser like you just saw, and they shoot out the top. And the top has a hole in the top. We've drilled different shaped holes in the different nozzles. So this one that Fritz is just demonstrating has a 1/2 inch hole. I can tell that from a distance because it has black taper on the top. It's got a black stripe. And when he pulls the pin on this, we'll see what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, pull. Now we're talking. Arms up. So that nozzle had a 1/2 inch hole. The red stripes you'll see have a 1/4 inch hole. This orange stripe has 3 holes, and that looks a little different. That looks like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. 3 holes. Now we're talking. Oh, arms up. I'm glad we have a tent for our sound people. Now, when you make these yourself, you don't need to drill round holes. You can cut whatever shape you want to shape the soda spray however you want to make it shaped. So this one, we just took a hacksaw to. We cut a slot across the top of it. There's no round holes. It's just a slot. You could put a little mail slot, you could mail a little envelope in there. When he pulls the pin on that, that looks like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. Uh-oh. Yeah. I'll do this one. There we go. Arms up. You guys got to see what happens sometimes when they misfire. Sometimes what happens is the Mentos go back up, get shot back out with the soda spray, and they jam the pipe. So Fritz knocked it on the ground. The Mentos fell back into the soda, and the ordinary effect happened. Oh, he's already soaking wet. Look at that.
Now, you guys are makers, so you're going to want to build these nozzles yourselves. And for that, there's one important tip we have for you to build your own nozzles. And that is the glue that you're going to need. So we've got two different kinds of plastic here. The bottle cap and the PVC tube are actually slightly different kinds of plastic. And it took us a long time to find the right kind of glue because there's not a lot of surface area there. So what we found, we went through Gorilla Glue, we went through PVC, every kind of cement we could find. What you're going to need is some Scotch Weld 3M DP8005 structural plastic adhesive. Give it up for DP8005. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, if you find yourselves at home going, wait, what was that? Just send us a message on Facebook, drop us an email, and say, what was that epoxy? And we'll let you know. 3M Scotch Weld DP8005 structural plastic adhesive. That's what you're going to need. But you guys, being makers, you're not going to stop there.
You can put whatever you want on top of your bottles. This is simple. This is just a lawn sprinkler from Home Depot. So hopefully that'll get you guys started to think about what you're going to put on your nozzles, because it doesn't have to be that simple. And send us pictures. We want to see pictures of what you make and pictures of the fountains you make.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the number one question we get asked is, what is it about this combination of candy and soda that creates this explosive reaction? And you would think that it would be a chemical reaction. You'd think it would be something about the ingredients of the soda and ingredients of the candy, but actually it's predominantly a physical reaction. It's primarily a physical reaction called nucleation. And you can see nucleation in action. If you take your finger and you put it inside a cup of soda pop, you'll see bubbles forming on the ridges of your finger. And what's happening is that all this carbon dioxide, you've got all of this carbon dioxide, all of this fizz saturated under pressure inside the soda, and it is trying to escape. And it will grab onto anything bumpy it can find, like the ridges of your finger. Well, it turns out we actually got to go to the Mentos factory in Holland, where all the Mentos in the world are born. And the final stage in the creation of a Mentos is they throw thousands of them into these giant, they're like clothes dryers, they're big rock tumblers. And as the Mentos tumble around, they spray them with over 40 layers of liquid sugar. And that not only makes them tasty, it means that if you look at the surface of a Mentos candy under a microscope, you will see literally hundreds of thousands of tiny little bumps. And every single one of those bumps is a place for the carbon dioxide to grab onto. So when you drop a handful of Mentos into the bottle and they sink down, you get bubbles forming onto the surface, you get bubbles grabbing onto those bubbles, cascading reaction, all of this pressure is released, sends the soda flying out the mouth of the bottles.
The other question we get asked is, how many Mentos do you use? Well, we've tried all different numbers, and we have a number that we use, but we thought we'd save you the time of doing it yourself. We have 3 different experiments here. All these setups, these bottles are all identical, except the number of Mentos inside is different. In this first one, we have just 1 Mentos candy, and that is correct. 1 Mentos, we learned from the people who make it. Mentos is singular and plural. So when Fritz pulls this, we'll see what kind of a geyser this gets with a single Mentos. 3, 2, 1, pull! All right, so there's a geyser. Arms up! This next bottle has 5 Mentos. Let's see what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, pull. Now we're talking. Arms up! I can't believe I'm going to say this again. This next bottle goes to 11. There are 11 Mentos in this bottle. 3, 2, 1, pull. Arms up. So we use 5 in the nozzles you see on the stage, but as you can see, the more you add, the more you get the reaction to happen just a touch faster for every additional Mentos you add.
And one of the big questions we also get is, do you have to use diet soda pop? Do you have to use Coke Zero or Diet Coke? The answer is no. You can use just about any fizzy beverage, including fizzy beverages that are made for adults. It does work with beer. We have tested this, just not as extensively as we have with Diet Coke and Coke Zero. But there are two big reasons we use diet soda pops like Coke Zero. First, they put a little bit more carbon dioxide into the diet sodas. So you get a little bit more power. In fact, the biggest geysers we've ever seen, we made with a German sparkling wine called Sekt. And sparkling wines like champagne, they put so much carbon dioxide, you get geysers that are 50% higher than anything we've ever seen with soda pop. It's a little bit more expensive though. But you know, if anybody wants to do a New Year's Eve thing with champagne, we are down for that. Absolutely. But the second and most important reason we use diet sodas is that there's no sugar. And no sugar means it's not sticky. And since we are about to get soaked to the skin for your amusement, we really appreciate that it's not sticky. Now, if you're going to do this yourselves, and we know you are, excuse me, there's one other important tip we have for you.
Use warm soda. This took us an embarrassingly long time to figure out. In the beginning, everything we were doing was working great. And then we began trying more and more different effects, all the stuff you see on stage and a bunch of stuff that didn't work. And we were bringing more and more bottles out in front to try it out. And at the point we were bringing 10, 15 bottles out, the first experiments were working great. And we would save a regular bottle or two just to see how the regular bottle was working. And after a while, the regular bottles were going only 2 and 3 feet in the air, and we couldn't figure out why. And the reason, finally realized, we're in Maine. It's March. It's like 22 degrees outside. And as we were doing all the new ones that we just built that were warm from the house, the ones were sitting on the porch getting colder and colder and colder were giving us really disappointing reactions. So Fritz has a little demonstration here. Again, 2 identical setups. One bottle has been sitting out in this nice warm fall black stage for a couple of hours. The other one has been in a bucket of ice water. And we want to see if you can tell which is which. The only difference is the temperature. 3, 2, 1, pull. Still going, still going. Arms up. So that's what happens. The only difference there is the temperature. So use warm soda. Now do not use the microwave. If you want to do it and your soda's in your refrigerator and you don't want to wait to leave it out, just put it in your kitchen sink, put that full of hot tap water, in 5 minutes you'll have soda that's perfect temperature, much more safely than the other way.
And to give you just one little cautionary tale before we get to the grand finale, one little cautionary tale for y'all. A few years ago, a woman came up to us and she said, "Oh, you're the ones. You're those Coke and Mentos guys. My daughter tried your little Coke and Mentos thing in the car on the way to the airport." My favorite part of the story, this girl was 16 years old. So while we do want you to try this at home, we do recommend you wait until you get home. Don't actually do it in the car. It's a little bit messy. So we hope that you'll visit our website, epbird.com, EPYBIRD, epbird.com, or visit our Facebook page at epbird. And let us know what crazy experiments you're up to. You'll see our videos of 250,000 sticky notes, videos with a Coke and Mentos powered rocket car, where we took all this power that you see here and harnessed it to achieve a fuel efficiency of 1 foot per liter. But we went 200 feet, so that's pretty cool. So we hope you'll check all of that out. Now, after the show, in just a few minutes, there will be 108 bottles of Coca-Cola on this stage. There will be about this much soda pop left at the bottom of every bottle. It will be warm, it will be flat, and it will have a slightly minty aftertaste. If you would like a souvenir of your time here at the EP Bird Coke and Mentos show, if you would like a souvenir of your time here at World Maker Faire, come on over to the sides of the stage, line up. About 5 minutes after the show, we will have 108 bottles to give away to take home. Yes, indeed. I think that's it. Are we ready to rock and roll? Absolutely. We want to say one more time, we just want to say we are so happy that Maker Faire is here. This is truly our favorite place to be. Thank you so much for coming out to World Maker Faire. Let's make a big mess.
Tap, 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 tap.